If you are just joining me, you have clicked by Just Stamp with Anna Marie. I am here for a full class today using the Cutest Cows bundle. It is a punch bundle with this super cute Punny stamp set, and it has the coordinating punch so you can build your cow with the body, the head. There is the, I'm not sure what that's called, like the snout. There's a little piece for the, what I term as like the fluff on the Highland cattle, or you could put it at the tail. There's another piece for the horns. So, and of course the head. So lots of options with this punch builder. And I'm going to say again, it wasn't on my original list. I thought it was cute when I saw it, but I'm super glad that I did get it because I love this little bundle. I've been having a lot of fun creating with it. Now you're going to see in the background the glare from my cool glass mat suite, which is part of the starter kit. If you purchase the starter kit through the end of February, you can choose or you can opt to get the glass mat bundle, which has this and the very convenient chamois that is just awesome. It just wipes this mat down so easily and so nicely. I'm just loving it. And I choose to store it in a little Ziploc baggie because the chamois likes to stay damp. If it dries out, it kind of loses its life. So I'm finding I like to store it in the plastic. All right, so are you ready to see the projects? I'm going to share with you the projects and then we'll get started on our cards. So we have a cute little What's Moo With You? I know it's corny, right? But so cute. I love the puns. And we also have a gift card holder. It's your special day. So this unfolds to create a little place for your gift card. And then last, I have a 3D project for you. I have a little milk carton. I'll share with you how I made the milk carton. And we'll talk a little bit about that when I get to this project. I'm going to add right here, this is the easiest box I have ever created. In fact, it was the very first box I learned to create back when I was a green Stampin' Up demonstrator. Just back in the day. All right, so I'm going to share with you how to create this fun card, and we'll talk about where all the elements came from. All right, so let's get started with class. And again, if you want this card kit, just place a minimum of a $40 order online using the host code. Here you go, right here. My store, make sure you're shopping with me. You'll see my photo on the shopping page. And you have until Sunday, February 4th to order. All right, so let's get started with card number 1, What's Moo With You? And I'm going to share with you the paper I'm using on this card class is the Be My Valentine paper, which if you've been clicking around, you have seen lots of cute Valentine's Day projects with this paper. There's a coordinating stamp set and bundle. These little bees are adorable. The honey that coordinates also with the fluffiest friends. Very fun, bright colors. When you flip, here's what I love about Stampin' Up! Papers. You have some graphics on the second side. Lots of fun patterns with bright colors. You've got yellow, Poppy Parade, a pretty pink, I think it's petal pink, some stripes, the cutest little flowers, some honeycomb. So this is the side we're using mostly. I'm using one of the florals as well to create our Cutest Cows cards and projects. So when you receive your kit, here's what you'll get for card number 1. You go ahead and pull everything out. We have our card base. And it's a standard card size. We have a layer with those postage, let's see, I don't want to steer you wrong, the perennial postage dies and that's pre-cut for you in your kit, so that will be supplied. We also have another layer that was created with the Countryside Corners dies, and again, it's pre-cut for you. We have a couple of other layers. Here's my designer series paper. There's one little swatch on the flip side of the cute bees, and on the other is the Poppy Parade background with those cute little daisy flowers. I have the smallest little swatch of, let's see, Lemon Lime Twist, and my most favorite ribbon, the black and white gingham. I just cannot keep this on my shelf. I go through it so quickly. So how about you? Do you like to use ribbon on your cards? This is the best ribbon. It's so pliable. It's narrow enough that it's not overbearing. It doesn't add a lot of bulk to your card. It's my favorite. And I use my ribbon very selectively, let's say that. All right, so let's eliminate some of these layers here before I lose things. I'm going to fold my card and burnish, and I pre-scored it right down the center. In the card kit, everything is cut to measure and scored for you. Again, it's standard card size, 8.5 by 5.5, scored right down the middle. I have a layer for my white background, and I am going to be wrapping and tying my ribbon around this layer. I'm going to go ahead and do that now because, truth be told, sometimes I get a little overzealous and I start layering. I don't know if it happens to you as well. And then I realized, oh, there was a step I needed to complete before I actually attached it to the card. So I'm going to go ahead and add this now before I forget. All right. So look how easily that ties. It's a cute little bow right on the left of the card, and it's in place. I'm going to be adding that to my card base, and I have somebody joining me from Wyoming. Hello, Roberta. I am so pleased that you can pop in tonight and check out the cards. I have a team member in Wyoming. I can't remember. I think she's in Casper. I send something out to her every month. You'd think I would remember, but, and I'm using my favorite, the liquid glue, and once in a while it gets a little bit clogged. Let's see if I've got my fix here. And I keep a little tack in my toolbox. Well, hello, Barbara from Illinois. Now, oh my gosh, I have people joining me from outside my time zone, and I bet it's probably getting a little bit late. I know I'm coming late tonight from California. Still haven't had my dinner, supper, whatever you call it in your neck of the woods. But my husband, David, and I tend to eat late. But that's okay. That just suits us. All right, so I just am flat adhering this, and probably about 1.25 inches from the base of the card. That's going to get layered on. Look how cheerful this little pattern is. I love the color. Love those tiny little flowers. Very cute. Now, at this point, I have the option of flipping that over. Hi, Corinne. Corinne says it's 9:25 in Texas. All right, so well, it's not too late. And I do have a team member in Texas too, Barbara, and she is in, she's been in a couple places. I want to say Brauman. Does that sound right? B-R-A-U-M. Oh my gosh, if sometimes Barbara joins me. I wish I was a little bit better about remembering all the names and places. And actually, Barbara is going to be joining me at the team meeting this Saturday. I'm super excited. She is going to be local, and she's popping in for the Stamparista team meeting on Saturday. So the team's really pleased that she has added our gathering to her calendar, because I'm sure she's going to be busy with a week in town. But I'm so glad I get to see my Texan team member. All right, so what I'm doing is adding now my white layer, that postage die cut, and I'm putting it right over those cheerful flowers. And I'm doing that with dimensionals, and you saw I put in a generous number. And so let's see. So it's 9:25. Do you craft late at night or do you read? Because I'm all over. I either craft, I'm watching television, I read, or just relax. So nighttime's a pleasant time. I like the mornings, and honestly, I'll do the same thing in the mornings. Enjoy my coffee, read my book, do a little bit of crafting. My husband and I like to catch up on the overnight news. So it's almost like a repeat of the night before. Yeah. Oh, Corrine says she has her grandkids all day, so you get to relax now then. It's your time to relax. Okay, so there's my base. Let's get our focal point going. I'm going to bring in that Countryside Corners die, and I'm going to add my lemon lime twist to the base, and I'm just going to flat it here. It's just a little greenery so that our cute cow has a resting spot, and I'm just going to add this. Right now it's just a little rectangular piece. I'm going to add it to the base, and then I'm going to trim off the excess or the corners, because remember they're countryside corners, right? So just flat it here, flip it over, and I'm going to use my paper snips. All right, and trim that down. So this is a pretty simple card. It's a basic construction, no fun fold. There's some layering, some die cutting going on. There's going to be a little bit of coloring. So it's a little bit stepped up, but still something that's manageable. All right, so now I've got my greenery. I am going to do some stamping. And for stamping, I've got some scraps. And I've got a larger piece and a smaller piece. And I'm also going to need to stamp those cute little sunflowers. Oop, just took a sip of my little nightcap. All right, so let me see. I've got my stamps all mounted. I'm going to need those sunflowers. And it's a trio on one stamp. I've mounted them on block D, which is my go-to block. It's the most used. Almost every stamp fits nicely on it. And it is a photopolymer stamp. So I'm going to bring out my piercing mat. And I really encourage you to use the piercing mat when you stamp with photopolymer. I see stampers struggle with getting a nice image without this layer of cush. And it's just kind of frustrating when you're trying to do everything right and then you stamp down and you don't get your nice impression. It's kind of off-putting. So what I like to do, especially for the Memento black ink, is turn my stamp upside down and then take my ink pad and tap it, and many times all over. All right, so next, I'm just going to place it on the Countryside Corners right in the background, and I'm going to kind of abut it right to that lemon lime twist layer and press down. There we go. And I'm thinking maybe I should have given it a little bit more space, but we'll see. I'm going to add my sentiment, which is the very corny, very punny, but I love it. What's Moo With You? I think these cards are so fun. I love florals, and I know that a lot of the women that I stamp with. Now here's where I have a choice. I can set it off slightly to the right, or I can put it on the original side where, as I did with my sample. And I'm going to see. What do you think? Should I put it off to the right? It kind of fits nicer up here. However, I like the construction of having that angle there. So tell me what you think. I'll put that aside. We'll do that in a minute. Let me stamp my little cow. So the cow is a builder cow. I'm going to start. So Corinne says the right. I think I'm going to agree with you, Corinne. So the builder cow, I'm using the little head that has the two open eyes. And I gotta say, this cow's expression is just adorable. You have lots of options with the stamps, and you have even more options with placement. And you're gonna see what I mean in just a second. I'm gonna stamp down on my scrap. And this is a very narrow scrap for a reason. So I used my head. I'm going to go ahead and stamp down on a bigger scrap, the body. And this is the cow that's lying down, which cannot be punched out. It has to be hand snipped. So I'm not worried about the size of the scrap. I'm going to be hand snipping anyway. I'm just going to stamp here on the lower part of my scrap. We'll be doing a little bit of hand snipping. And all right, I'm gonna go with the right. I think I like it there better. There's a little more space with it. I hate to crowd it. Over on the left. I think, oh, there's a little bit of a shadowy. I'm okay with it though. Let's go with that. We're going to do some coloring and some punching and some hand snipping. So let me take my Pierce mat away. I'll put that there. And then here's what I'm coloring with today. So usually the coloring, the go-to is the blends, right? However, there's no reason that you can't use your old Stamp Right markers. They will work perfectly. Oh, I just remembered, I forgot to grab a color. So here we go. Let's do our little flowers. The leaves are being colored with Lemon Lime Twist. So really pretty green. And this isn't fancy coloring, just adding color. You don't have to worry about it blending. Just put your color down on those cherry flowers and on the leaves. And it's just going to be lots pops of color. So I'm finding Lemon Lime Twist, Parakeet Party, very similar but different. And I just like both of them. You're going to see. I'm going to be using Lemon Lime Twist on another project. So there's the leaves. Let me put that aside. My flowers are going to be Daffodil Delight, and I'm just doing the whole little leaves, and I'm going to do the center. They almost have like a little face in them. And with the marker, it goes very quickly, just a little bit of color, nothing too detailed, really simple coloring. And I want to add a little bit of brown in there. And I'm going to use, this time I'm going to use my crumb cake blend just because it's what's at the ready here. So I'm just going to come around the little face of my flower with crumb cake. So there. All right. Okay, so there's my focal point. Then I'm going to do my little cow, and the face and the body are going to have some crumb cake spots and hair. And the nice thing about this is you do not have to have specific browns or greens or yellows. Whatever you've got on hand is going to work. This is not too fussy, and sometimes I use my brush tip, sometimes I use my pen tip. The brush tip will go a little bit faster. And let's talk about the cows. So the little cows, my favorite cows are the Highland cattle that you find in Scotland. They have that bushy hair, that little massive hair at the top of their head. But I know in different areas, there's other styles of cows, and you could totally tailor your cows to your favorites. So one of my team members tells me about the belt cows, which would be really fun as well to create. So the center of their body it looks like it has a wide belt on, and you could easily recreate that as well. Now the little snout I'm going to do in pink, and I'm using my bubble bath. I'm just going to put a little bit of pink in the ears and then on the snout. And again, if you have a blend that's petal pink or a marker that's petal pink, any in the color family will work. All right, so I've got my cow in my head, and let's see, where is my punch? Let's see, right here. The reason that I had this small strip is because it just feeds into the builder punch more easily, as opposed to putting a bigger piece of cardstock in. You get less rubbish flying out, and you get less waste as well. So I'm just going to put that in, and I like to center it in the punch. I'll bring it up a little bit. When I'm pretty close to what I like, I kind of clamp down a little bit so it doesn't wobble, and I'm going to punch. There it goes. See, you get little pieces that fly around. That's why I like to have smaller scraps for that. Now remember, that lying down cow needs to be hand snipped, but it shouldn't be too difficult. It's pretty small. And with the paper snips, it gets you in those little spaces. Just curve it around, turn the paper, and it'll be done in a jiff. There we go. And it doesn't matter what we do at the top of the body there, because the head's going to be going on. And just going to snip around. There we go. So there's my cow. I'm going to need that scrap a little bit later. So let's put the body goes on flat. So you could use seal or just a couple dots of liquid glue. And I still think liquid glue is the best. And I'm going to bring my little cow over. And because I now have my greeting on the right, I have a little bit of leeway to bring it over more to the right. And the head is going to be popped up on dimensionals. But what I wanted to share with you, this is really adorable, because I could put the cow's head on straight, like she is looking right at you, or he's looking right at you, or I could tilt it so it has like that little inquisitive, inquiring look, and I love that about it. So I'm going to slightly angle mine. I'm going to put a dimensional on the back. Now I could put a couple of minis on the side, but I think the one dimensional will support nicely. I'm going to go ahead and add that at an angle. I think that's super cute. All right, now I'm ready to bring it back my base, and I'm going to be adding that into position, and I'm going to use dimensionals as well. So I am double stacking the dimensionals, and I do have a pointer that I learned, a tip that I learned earlier this week. Sometimes our cards get a little bit bulky, that they require extra postage, or sometimes it's not so much the bulk as there are little bumps because of the embellishments. And depending on where you take your cards, like if you take them to the post office and drop them, and I'm just going to place that pretty much in the center of the postage label. There we go. So this certainly does not exceed the weight limits for the standard first class stamp. In the US, I think it's 68 cents now. It just went up. However, if you want, you could flip it closed, and that eliminates some of those bumps. It just helps go through that hand canceling machine, or the canceling machine a lot easier. So it shouldn't get pulled as being too bulky or too lumpy. Some postmasters I hear are pretty finicky and want to charge extra postage for any little deviations from the standard card. So flip it closed, see if that helps out. I know that that helps with embellishments, or you could put another piece of cardstock, maybe texturized cardstock, to help with those lumps and bumps as well. So my last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to trim the edges of this ribbon, and I'm using what I call my ribbon scissors because these are solely for cutting ribbon, no paper. And there's our first project. What's Moo with you? What do you think? I think it's kind of cute. I love the expression on that cow. So there's card number 1. Let's keep going. We're going to make a gift card holder next. So here we go. It's your special day. Now this is going to use another die cut. I'll share with you where I got that. When you open this up, it's like you unfold it and you can put a little gift card in here. It's a birthday card. Oh, thank you, Roberta. She says it's adorable. I'm telling you, the cows are the cutest. Very, very cute. All right. Very farmy, right? Okay, so in your kit, you will get these pieces to create your project. The card base itself, I'm using Daffodil Delight, and it's cut 5.5 by 4.5. So that's still the same size as your standard card, but it's not going to be a folding card. The next layer is Poppy Parade at 5 by 3 3/4, and this goes on flat. I'm going to go ahead and adhere it now before I lose it, even though I'm trying to stay organized, and I have this great little organizer caddy for all my tools. It's been helping me out. Still, pieces go missing. I don't know how that happens. And you notice I do not put a lot of liquid adhesive. I don't want it oozing out. I just want to make sure it sticks down. There we go. I'm going to center it. I've got like maybe 3/8 of an inch all the way around, flat adhered. There we go. I have a thick basic white layer. This one measures 3 1/4 across 9 3/4, and I have pre-scored it. And I am going to fan fold it, so back and then forward. And I'm going to use my foam folder to burnish that down. There we go. Make sure it's got some nice creases on there, all the way down. And you'll notice I wrote my dimensions right on there so I could remember one. And it's not going to show anyway, so it's just helpful for me. All right, now I've got a layer of that Be My Valentine paper. I love this little Daffodil Delight plaid. On the flip side are those cute little bees, and I know it's hard to use. It sometimes you're just in a quandary, like, I don't know which side to use. Now, this is Z-folded, right? And it's going to pull up and open. So I want to make sure that I'm putting my designer series paper on the right side so that the card unfolds correctly. This is going to be flat adhered. Again, just dot, not a lot, right on the back. And it gets centered on the card front. And I'm going to have about 1/4 of an inch border all the way around. So nice little birthday card. There we go. We're coming to it. Now when I open it up, remember it's going to be a gift card holder, but I'm going to be doing some stamping as well. I do want to eliminate my layers so that I don't lose them. I've got a small piece of the DSP. This one has like the little bee tracks on it, Poppy Parade. On the flip side are those cute honey jars. I'm telling you, it's hard to pick. So to create a little notch on that layer so that the recipient can see there's a gift card inside, I'm just going to take a circle punch, and you can use any size almost. You just want to push it in about halfway and eyeball the center. And now we're going to adhere that to the base with flat adhesive only on 3 sides, on the 2 sides and on the bottom. And I'm going to do it right to the edge so that we have the space to slip the gift card in. So not on the top, we want to be able to slip the gift card in, and I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch border, 2 sides and bottom. There we go. Press down, and you will see your card, your gift card will fit right inside. And remember, liquid glue takes a little bit of time to dry. Just apply a little bit of pressure. There we go. And before we continue, let's go ahead and stamp our inside greeting. So on the outside it says, "It's your special day." On the inside we have the 2 little chickens and chick chatting, and they say, "Milk it for all it's worth." And we have the 2 milk jugs there. So super cute. Let's do the stamping. And I have mounted the 2 little chicks. Oh, let's start with the grass. How about that? So the grass I am stamping with Parakeet Party. And the stamp set includes a little grass image, and I'm just going to ink that up and stamp all the way across. And you have plenty of space, right, like so. I'm going to stamp 2 jugs, and kind of in the grass. Our 2 milk jugs, and let's do our 2 chicks. I'm going to put my Parakeet Party away and bring back in my memento. All right. So there's my chicken littles, and they're just going to be right on the grass. Oops, I need a little bit of space for my sentiment. So milk it for all it's worth. Let's go ahead and get that greeting. And it might look like overkill. I mounted this tiny greeting on H because the other long and narrow block is too small. And when you have a block that's too small for the stamp, you kind of getting a little bit of a challenge making sure that you're getting a good impression. So I'm going to put that right above the grass and press firmly so that I get my words on there. Milk it for all it's worth. There we go. And let's do a little bit of coloring. Oh, I see I should have brought my pumpkin pie. I'm going to do my Daffodil Delight. Do the little body. Looks like I forgot to bring out my pumpkin pie. And some feathers. And also, I'm going to add my milk jugs, and I'm going to do, I'm not going to fill in, I'm going to kind of go in streaks. You know how milk jugs look a little tinny? And these blends are a little bit dry, but that's perfect for what I want with my milk jugs. I want that scratchy look. And no, let's see if this will work. No pumpkin pie. This is still yellow. No, I'm going to need to add my pumpkin pie on there. But you get the drift, right? a little bit of red, a little bit of, let's see, I just don't want to leave it like that. All right, I've got my pumpkin pie. Better. I don't want to leave it undone. Just a little crown on that. There we go. A little bit more color in there. And their little beaks. Super cute, right? All right. So let's do our focal point. Closing that down. We are going to be stamping. And this time we are going to be using the punch for the head as well. Let's see, in our kit we had a die cut from the Nested Essentials. I'm going to stamp the body of the cow right onto the Nested Essentials die cut. And this is going to be just in Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm just going to stamp it right. Let's see, I want him kind of straight. There we go, right onto the label. And I'm going to bring back, let's see if I can find my little, where was my scrap? I'm going to be stamping my greeting that says, "It's your special day." This little speech bubble came from the Be Mine bundle. That's actually the body of the bee, but I think it doubles nicely as a speech bubble. What do you think? I think it's perfect. It looks just like a talking bubble. So, and I'm going to be stamping in Tuxedo Memento Black right there. And pull that off. Perfect. And I do need that scrap. Let me grab my scrap. Now that disappeared. I knew I needed that. And I didn't toss it. Let me grab it. All right, and this one, the little cow's face is different. And this one that I'm using is the winking cow. It's your special day. Just peel that off of the stamp set. And let's see, I'm going to swap out. And this is on block C in Memento Black again. There we go. And this little head as well can just be punched right out. Let's do some coloring first though. All right, this little cow is going to be a brown cow, or a cow with brown spots. So, and again, you can tailor your coloring to your preferences. Everything looks cute. And again, I'm going to color his little bangs or his little coif here. And I'm going to add the bubble bath to the ears and that little snout. And this gets punched. All right, like so. And again, pop that right in there. All right, so there's our stamping for the focal point. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my card base. this gets flat adhered, and so I'm going to be using my liquid glue. You really want to make sure that you've got a little more adhesive because this is getting heavier. It's a little weightier. And it goes centered, being very careful to make sure you're doing it the correct way. Remember, it's going to open up, and I'm going to get an equal border on all sides. And just use some pressure to hold that down. Next, I'm going to add my die cut. Let's get my, there we go. And the Nested Essentials gets layered flat. And put that about 1/2 inch from the left. There we go. And my little cow's head is going to be popped up with a dimensional. And again, I'm going to look to angle that head to give the cow a little bit of expression. She's not only winking, she's kind of lifting her head to greet. It's your special day. And I also popped up the little label with a dimensional. And there we go. And I'm going to use my favorite ribbon. I'm just going to tie a cute little bow. So the tiniest little bow. Sometimes I use my bow maker. This one's just going to be loops and pulled. And I want just the tiniest little one on the side. So use my ribbon scissors and come down. Trim that off. And for the ribbon, I usually like to add that with a mini glue dot. And just going to bring my bow right up to my glue dot. Oh, there we go. And put it right along the edge, kind of near her tail, just like so. All right, there is card number 2, a gift card holder. It's your special day. Open that up, milk it for all it's worth. There we go. What do you think? I think it would be appropriate for an adult or child. And it's really nice to have the birthday cards on hand. All right, so one more project. We are making a little milk box, and this is the easiest box ever. When I first started with my Stampin' Up! Journey, this was the first box I learned to make. It is so simple. I have seen other milk cartons with this Cutest Cows bundle, but to me, if you need an easy favor or holiday giftable, these little boxes are very quick to make, very easy to put together. And let me share with you how I'm doing it. So let's see, this is a no stamp project. Thanks, Roberta. It's a no stamp project, so I'm going to put my ink away. I am starting with, and this is what will be in your kit. We have lots of pieces here. So I have letters for the milk, M, I, L, and K. And I'll share with you where I got these letters. This adorable mini alphabet die has all the letters on it. It even has duplicates of some of the letters. Like there's 2 A's, not just the vowels, A, H's, L's, O's, S's, T's, R's, duplicates. And it's super easy to run through the die machine. And I scored because the letters I needed are all on one line. Let me pull the die out. I love the size of these letters. It's one die. You can run it through and have all those letters to work with. We also have special characters, exclamation marks or punctuation. So that's included, 3 dies altogether. And if you don't need all the letters, you can take like 1-inch strips. And as I said, I scored on mine because all the letters I needed were on one row. So with one little strip placed over that row, I cut the letters, and I even had extra. Look at that, 1 inch by about 4 inches got me all those letters. As I said, you can take a bigger piece of cardstock and die cut them all at once, or cut just what you need. That's where those letters came from. I have pre-punched my little cow in cardstock, so you don't have to watch me punch. I'm using one little snip of designer series paper, those cute little flowers. On the flip side are the stripes, so you could use either side. This is my little Highland cattle. And I'm going to need some ribbon to close the carton. So here, let me share with you how I make this super easy cardstock box. All right, I am using my paper trimmer, and I'm going to be scoring, not cutting. Again, the cardstock starts at 5.5 by 8.5, so standard card size, right? I'm going to see if I can put that right here. Get rid of that. Make a little bit of space here. I'm going to extend my paper trimmer. I am scoring. All right, let's see here. So here are the measurements you need, and we're scoring, not cutting. On the long side, I am going to score at, this is so easy to remember, 2, push it up to 4, 6, and 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Now I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to score at 2. Still scoring. And then at 5. 2 and 5. So I have a 1/2 inch here on one side. All right, so that is the basis of the box. I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and we're going to fold and burnish on the score lines. So I can start up with that 2 inch. And the 1/2 inch one does not need to be folded and burnished. It's more of a guide. Now I'm going to go on the other edge and fold and burnish. I'm trying really hard not to lose my little cow pieces there. I'm going to push them off to the side here so I don't lose them. Right. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8. Now I have a 1/2 inch tab. And there we go. And already you can see the box coming together, right? Next, I'm going to do some snipping. So let's see, this little 1/2 inch tab at the bottom. So I'm going to snip that off completely. So on the score line, I'm going to remove that piece. And then I'm going to make an angled snip. Let me get rid of that piece. All right, make a little angled snip here. That's going to be one of the tabs. That's going to be the tab I had here. Now I'm going to be cutting on the score lines up to the perpendicular score. So from the bottom, I'm going to cut up to the score line on all the scores. 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are the dimensions you need to remember. Rotate, and then it's 2 and 5. Now, I like to debulk, so I'm going to make some little darts. and just cut little slivers off so it's not so bulky at the seams. Trying to get rid of that excess all the way up. So in my little milk carton, I'm obviously, it's not milk, but how about some milk chocolate? I'll have a couple different kinds of treats that fit in this little box. And it's the perfect size for a party favor or a little treat for Valentine's Day, birthdays, Easter. They are perfect for all the holidays and events. All right, so there are my little flaps. All right, and I am not doing anything with that 1/2 inch score at the top. That will be just a guideline. So my first step, I'm going to adhere that tab, that 1/2 inch tab, and I'm going to use, again, my liquid adhesive. You could use tear and tape. Not too much, though. You don't want it to ooze out. And I'm just going to bring that up and align the edge to the score line and apply a little bit of pressure so that it dries. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause. That tab goes at the back. So on mine, it's at the back left. This is going to be my front here. I am going to go ahead and decorate it before I fully assemble it. So I'm just going to fold it over. The piece that's going to go in the front is this piece here. It's opposite the 1/2 inch tab. I'm going to apply with liquid adhesive. I'm going to put my little pattern down. And this is going to be pretty close to the base of the box. There we go. And I have about 1/8 of an inch border on all sides. Okay, next I'm going to bring my letters in, and before I glue them down, I'm going to lay them out to make sure they're in the position I want them to be in. So M-I, L, and K. And if I want them pretty much centered on my 2-inch pattern paper, there we go. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in a little pencil. I'm going to bring in a pencil, make a small pencil mark. There's where my L goes. And I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of dots of liquid glue. So when you do your lettering, if you want, you could apply some of the adhesive sheets. And easiest way to work with the small letters with your little tweezers, pull that over. Now I have my little dot. That gives me a spot to make sure I'm in the right spot. All right, so now I work from the center out. Whoa. You can see why I'm eager to get these letters onto the box so they don't fly away and get lost. So I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive down. And I'm going to add that right there. Put my I and my M. And then finally the M. So these are definitely a little treat box that you could mass produce without a lot of fuss and scoring. All right, there is my milk. Now let's go ahead and create my little cow, my Highland cattle. I'm going to want the Highland head to be at the right, so I'm going to flip the body, and I'm going to do some stamping. So I've cut the body in pecan pie and the head in pecan pie. I've got the Highland cattle's little fluff of hair in crumb cake, as well as the snout. And then this is, oh my God, pebbled path for the horns. So let's do some stamping. These are pretty small. I am going to need my black ink, and I need my stamp set to get my stamps. I'm using block A. So let's start with those horns. So you can see we've got in our stamp set, these are the horns, the bull horns. We have some eyes here, and we have also the little nose and mouth here, right in here. So I need those three. So let me start with the horns. I keep wanting to call it ears. They're not the ears. And I pre-punched with photopolymer. It's easy to place because you can see right through. Stamp down. And let me put that away. Let me grab the other things I need. I need my cute little eyes. Right on his head. And trying to get the placement right. Eyes. And let's see. I need that snout with the little nose and mouth. There we go. There's our snout. All right, so now let's build our cow. Ooh, almost got my box in the ink. Okay, so let's add a little dot of glue on the pebbled path horns. We'll add a little dot for the snout, a little dot for the hair. Okay, let's, there. And let's see, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick to put that little hair in place. Liquid glue is great because you can tweak it. And now I'm going to put the horns on. Oops. I slid that and the little waif of hair. There we go. Put that back. It slid right down. Okay. And the head is actually going to be popped up with dimensionals. Now, you have some options with the body. I could punch a couple extra snouts and put them on spots, add a little tail with a contrasting crumb cake. For this project, I'm keeping it really simple. I'm just using the, let's see, I'm trying to think which cardstock color I used. Any idea? It's not, it's not pecan pie. One of the ink colors. If you think of it, pop it in the comments. All right, so I'm just adding flat adhesive there. I'm not going to put the head on till after I construct the box. Head's going to go on with a dimensional. Okay, so now we have our basic box. Let's take care of the bottom to create, and I'm going to flip that over, bring the sides in first, And let's add some adhesive in place here. So dot, dot, there. Push that in place. Then I bring the back in, and again, copper clay. Thank you, Lori. That's exactly what it is. I appreciate your help. My mind went blank. Okay, so I have the sides, bring in the back, and then the last one I bring up is the front tab, and I'll show you why that sequence is important. I can flip that over, and I'm going to use my foam folder to get in there and kind of burnish that around. And when you look at the box, you see a nice clean edge at the front because the tab went to the back. Flip it over and you can see that's the back side now, and the box is being held together. So I'm going to pinch in the sides, and here's where that 1/2 inch score comes in really handy. What I'm going to do to keep this together is punch a 1/2 circle on the ends. That means that will be a little gap in there so I can tie the ribbon. Let me show you my sample here. So right in here, the ribbon will stay put with those little notches. And I have a special tool. Let's see if I have it handy here. Some of you who have been crafting for quite a while might recognize this tool. It is long retired. Stampin' Up! Did offer this crop-a-dial many years ago, and I've held on to mine. It was to set eyelets, those little fancy, like a grommet. It also has a hole punch on each side, and this isn't your average hole punch. This has a lot of might, and that's what I love about it. So I am going to be using the hole punch here because it will chomp through the layers of cardstock, and I want it to go right where that 1/2 inch tab is. That's the reason I scored there. And you want to kind of get your box aligned correctly. If you can keep it, kind of squish it in place, you can do all layers at once. Yes, the crop-a-dial will go through all those layers. I don't want to push it in all the way though. I just want half that punch so you can kind of see there, and I need it on both sides. So the trick really, when you just have 2 hands, is to hold tight on one side and then use the other side to punch, and the crop-a-dial, this great tool, will go through all the layers. There you go. And all you need is that tiny little notch to help you keep the ribbon in place. All right, now I can add my head, and of course, I'm not just going to add it straight. I could. He's looking right at me, but I like that little inquisitive look when he tilts his head and kind of looks at you with curiosity. And I'm going to use my dimensionals to keep that in place. This is kind of dark. Let me add a couple of black dimensionals. Keep it nice and secure. All right. Right in here, we're going to angle his little head. He's hanging off the box. Now, before you put that ribbon around, you have a choice. Let's see what kind of treats I have here. So I've got these nice little minis of Whoppers. So those will fit in there, and I probably would only put like 2. You could choose to put in some milk chocolate kisses, and it will hold, that's 5, 6, 7, maybe like so. And then you're going to take your adorable black and white gingham ribbon and just pinch that. And I had a friend who had a great idea. Let's see if I can grab one. if you use a little clip to hold it. You have your hands free to tie the, whoops. Well, you should have your hands free. I do have different clips as well that will hold it shut. Let's see. Because it is kind of hard to wrap it around and keep it closed and tie your ribbon. Doable, but at least that way you're only struggling with the ribbon and not with keeping the box closed as well. There we go. And there's our little box, our little milk box with milk chocolate treats made with the Cutest Cows. And 2468, really easy to mass produce. So this is the easiest, no dye needed, just a few measurements, some scoring, and it's really, really fast and easy. So there are our 3 projects using the Cutest Cows bundle. And if you would like the kit, that includes everything you need. I can't send you the stamped images, so you will need the Cutest Cows bundle to create the cards, but you're going to get your letters, your die cuts, your cardstock, pattern paper, ribbon, everything else that you need. Just a $40 order. Use the host code, and alternatively, I'll place a link so that you can do some easy ordering. You do not have to order the Cutest Cows. Order anything you'd like, and I will send you the kit. Just place your order by Sunday, February 4th. All right, so any questions on the projects, how to do? You can always watch the replay. This will be uploaded over onto the YouTube channel, so you can review on all the steps and all the measurements. You are so welcome, Corinne. I'm just so thrilled that you stuck with me for the 3 projects. I think that these are cards that you can use, and I am here to remind you and challenge you. Get the cards in the mail. It's all good and well to create, but make someone's day by surprising them with a little treat or with a special card, just to let them know you're thinking of them. Get the cards in the mail. I will see you soon. Again, any comments, post them down below. I do check after the fact. And enjoy. Thank you so much for joining.